You probably think of Jinn as a genie that comes out of a lamp and gives you 3 wishes. Well, that may be the case in a movie or books, but the real legend states different. Jinns are creatures of magical protection or aid. This changes everything. Aid means I call upon a jinn to win a battle against someone, meaning doing a lot of harm. Does this state that jinns are good or bad? Jinns are the creatures from Islamic religion. But let's dig much deeper into this and let's see how they actually differ from the religious texts and how they are perceived nowadays. Jinns are supernatural entities known for their mystical powers and enigmatic nature. They are part of Islamic theology and culture. In Islamic traditions, the jinns are believed to have been created from smokeless flame or pure energy, with free will and a distinct identity from angels or human beings. They are invisible to the naked eye and can travel at great speeds and distances. Jinns are often associated with mystery and unpredictability, and their actions and motivations can be difficult to comprehend. Quran, the holy book of Islam, contains several references to jinns. According to Islamic belief, jinns were created before humans and were tasked with inhabiting the earth. Some jinns are believed to be good and follow the commands of Allah, but others are evil and follow the devil, Iblis. It is said that Iblis was once a jinn who was expelled from paradise for disobeying Allah. Jinns are said to have supernatural abilities and powers, such as shapeshifting, invisibility, and possession. They are also believed to have the ability to communicate with humans through dreams and other means. In Islamic tradition, there are many stories of jinns interacting with humans, some of which are benevolent while others are malevolent. One of the most well-known stories involving jinns is the tale of King Solomon. According to Islamic tradition, King Solomon had the ability to control jinns. It is said that he used them to build his magnificent palace and to do his bidding. It is also believed that he used jinns to create miraculous structures such as flying carpet and a throne that could transport him instantly to different locations. In some parts of the Islamic world, belief in jinns is deeply ingrained in the culture. There are many superstitions and beliefs surrounding jinns, such as the idea that they can possess humans or bring good or bad luck. Some people even believe that certain illnesses or accidents can be caused by jinns. One of the most intriguing aspects of jinns is their ability to possess humans. According to Islamic tradition, jinns can enter the body of a human and control their actions, often causing the person to exhibit strange or erratic behavior. Some people believe that jinn possession can also have positive effects, such as an increased creativity or enhanced spiritual experiences. In some cultures, there are rituals or practices to protect oneself from jinn possession. They can include reciting specific prayers or wearing certain amulets or talismans. Some people also believe that certain foods or actions can attract jinns, such as eating or drinking in a particular way or disrespecting a specific location or object. While jinns are often associated with negative or scary experiences, there are also stories of benevolent jinns who have helped humans in times of need. In some cultures, jinns are seen as guardians or protectors, and people may leave offerings or gifts to please them. The concept of jinns has also been incorporated into popular culture, particularly in Western media. The idea of the genie in the bottle who grants wishes to whoever frees them is a popular thought in movies and TV shows. This portrayal is often vastly different from the Islamic understanding of jinns and can perpetuate harmful stereotypes and misinformation. Let's talk about jinns' influence on Western horror stories. Are jinns the same in movies and religious scripts? Well, it's not that simple. The influence of jinn on Western horror stories is not often talked about, but it is an undeniable fact that these supernatural beings from Islamic folklore have played a significant role in shaping some of the most iconic horror stories in the Western world. One such example is the famous horror movie The Exorcist, which was released in 1973. The movie tells the story of a young girl who is possessed by a demonic entity, and a Catholic priest is called upon to perform an exorcism to rid her of the evil spirit. What many people didn't know is that the original story on which the movie was based had a strong influence from jinn. The writer of the original book, William Peter Blatty, was inspired by a real-life incident that took place in 1949. where a young boy was said to be possessed by a demon. However, Blatty's research into the incident led him to Islamic folklore and the concept of jinn, which he found to be fascinating and terrifying. Blatty's fascination with jinn led him to incorporate many elements of Islamic folklore into the story, such as the idea that jinn can possess humans and cause harm. This influenced the movie, which has become a classic in the horror genre. Let's jump on another example. In Islamic folklore, jinn are considered to be a kind of spirit, and their abilities to possess humans and cause harm have been linked to ghost stories in Western cultures. In some ghost stories, the spirit is portrayed as a vengeful entity that haunts a particular place or person. The idea of a malevolent spirit can be traced back to jinn, who are often portrayed as unpredictable and capable of causing harm to humans. One of the most famous examples of jinn's influence on Western horror stories is the movie The Ring, which was released in 2002. The movie tells the story of a cursed videotape that, when watched, will lead to the viewer's death within 7 days. The concept of a cursed object that leads to death is reminiscent of Islamic folklore, where objects are sometimes said to be cursed by jinn or other supernatural beings. Additionally, the portrayal of the mysterious and unpredictable nature of jinn has influenced the portrayal of supernatural entities in Western horror stories. Jinn are often depicted as elusive and difficult to understand, that has contributed to the idea of the unknown and unexplainable in horror stories. The influence of jinn on Western horror stories is a fascinating topic that has not been explored in depth. It is clear that these supernatural beings from Islamic folklore have had a significant impact on the genre, shaping the way we think about ghosts, demons, and other supernatural entities. Let's jump on to the next one. One of the most well-known examples of this is the movie The Exorcist, which we mentioned earlier. The movie portrays a young girl who is possessed by a demonic entity and requires an exorcism to be freed from its grip. The concept of possession has since become a staple of the horror genre, with many movies and stories revolving around the idea of a person being taken over by a mysterious force. Jinn's influence on Western horror stories also extends to the portrayal of magic and the occult. In Islamic folklore, jinn are known to possess magical powers and are often associated with the practice of magic. This idea has been incorporated into Western horror stories, where magic and the occult are often portrayed as a dangerous and sinister force. For example, the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling features many magical creatures and beings, some of which are inspired by Islamic folklore. The Dementors, for example, are said to be inspired by the concept of jinn, with the ability to possess and drain the life force from their victims. What about actual, not actual jinn interpretation, but rather using his abilities on other fictional creatures? For example, the movie Annabelle tells the story of a cursed doll that is possessed by a malevolent entity. Similarly, in the movie The Monkey's Paw, a cursed monkey's paw is said to grant wishes, but at a great cost, leading to tragedy and horror for the characters. Jinn's influence can also be seen in the portrayal of shape-shifting creatures in Western horror stories. Jinns are said to have the ability to shape-shift into various forms, including animals and humans. This idea has been incorporated into Western horror stories, with many tales featuring creatures that can transform into different shapes and forms. One example of this is the werewolf, a creature that is said to transform from a human into a wolf during the full moon. The idea of shape-shifting has also been incorporated into other popular horror creatures such as vampires and demons. The concept of jinn is a complex and fascinating one that has captured the imagination of people for centuries. Jinns are supernatural creatures that are said to inhabit our world and possess various magical abilities. While they are often portrayed as malevolent entities in Western horror stories, the reality is much more nuanced. Whether jinn is good or bad depends on the context and the individual jinn themselves. Some jinns are said to be benevolent and can even be helpful to humans. In Islamic folklore, it is believed that jinn can even fall in love with humans and form relationships with them. These jinn are often portrayed as beautiful and benevolent and can bring good fortune and prosperity to those they become friends with. On the other hand, There are also malevolent jinn that are said to be intent on causing harm to humans. These jinns are often portrayed as evil and demonic and can cause illness, possession, and even death. In Islamic folklore, it is believed that these malevolent jinn can be driven away through the recitation of certain prayers and the use of protective talismans. The ambiguity of jinn's nature is what makes them such a fascinating subject. They are neither wholly good nor wholly evil, but rather exist in a state of duality that makes them unpredictable and mysterious. This ambiguity has made them a popular subject in literature, film, and other forms of media, as their unpredictable nature lends itself well to stories of horror, suspense, and mystery. Jinn's nature is not easily defined as good or bad. Like all supernatural beings, they exist in a state of duality that makes them both fascinating and mysterious. While they are often portrayed as malevolent entities in Western horror movies, the reality is much more nuanced. Some jinns can be benevolent and helpful, while others are malevolent and intent on causing harm. Do not mistake jinn for this magical lamp and smiley face that grants wishes. It all depends on whether you interpret him as good or bad. Your imagination is the force that shapes them.